Marlins and the Phillies have a baseball game to play. And last night, the Fish shut out the Phils. Game 2 tonight. The Marlins looking for win number 59. And the Phils will be here for just one more night. Phillies trying to bounce back. Marlins, a couple heroes from last night. The Fish and the Phils tonight. Hi, everyone. Rich Waltz. Along with Tommy Hyde, it's our final email and Twitter Tuesday of the year, so you can be part of the telecast. How many times, partner, throughout this season have we seen the Marlins get great pitching like they did last night from Nathan Eovaldi, but not score enough runs to win a ball game? Last night was different, and it felt good.
Way too many times. Actually, 72 games the Marlins have played this year where they've scored 2 runs or less.
Yeah, well, for the Marlins last night, the key was adding on. They had an early run, and Eovaldi kept that 1-0 lead, and in the 8th, finally some more runs came.
Yeah, the 8th inning, after the bases-loaded walk, you thought, well, 1-0 would be kind of it. And all of a sudden, the Marlins started to get some big hits. Placido Polanco with a double to get things going. Heads-up base running on Polanco, the veteran's part, to steal third. Now, there were some walks involved. Greg Dobbs walked to load the bases. And now the big hits started to come. And this really helped as far as the pitching is concerned. Hey, that guy Donovan Solano with a base hit up the middle continues to hit near 350 with runners in scoring position. Hey, there's that guy Ed Lucas too. Got a big hit in the ball game. And Christian Yelich. These guys all swung the bat well in that 8th inning. Good to see the add-on runs.
And so when you add it up, the Marlins innings 1 through 7, just that one run left a lot of runners on, but you saw the key hits, Solano and Lucas, and the sac fly by Yelich, and that provided the margin of victory. And for the Phils, it was a bullpen game because Roy Halladay faced just 3 hitters before leaving with arm fatigue. And tonight's going to be similar as we look at the starters for tonight's ball game. It's our Coventry Healthcare starters. Zach Miner is a Palm Beach Gardens product, but he's been in the bullpen most of the year, so he's not really stretched out.
Yeah, he threw 61 pitches in Philadelphia. They hope to get 80, 90 pitches, maybe 4 or 5 innings. Henderson Alvarez, watch for the ground balls. When he gets ground ball outs, he's on his game.
So fire up the laptop, get the handheld devices ready. It is email and Twitter Tuesday. Hashtag off-season. Off-season plans? The social media contestant, Allison Williams, is here. winners last night. What will tonight bring? Not sure. Let's check in with Allison Williams. A-Dub?
I'll tell you what tonight will bring, Richie. How about some tweets? It's an email Twitter Tuesday, final time this year. So, of course, want to get everyone at home involved in the broadcast. Send us your emails and tweets. And the subject for tonight, well, we're talking off-season, looking ahead a little bit as the season wraps up in just 5 days. So send us your tweets at Fox Marlins. Use the hashtag off-season, so you can email us at GameConnect@FoxSportsFlorida.com and ask the broadcast. Now, for the Marlins, 4 months away from baseball, some of them no major plans, while others have some major life events coming up in the days and weeks ahead.
Yes, getting married November 2nd, then honeymooning in Costa Rica, and I don't know what else from there.
Holly is about to pop. She's ready to give birth to her first, so we're really excited about that. We're ready to settle down and take some time off before I get back to work.
You said you're looking forward to relaxing, but you understand you're about to have a child. That's not going to happen.
Well, yeah, but I'm not going to be out doing early work at 2:30 every day either. So I'll take a little time off baseball before I get back on the field. But yeah, you're probably right. I won't be probably getting quite as much sleep as I usually do.
Right after our last game, me and Stanton are going to Ibiza, and we're gonna go out there. I think just to visit out there, just see what. I've never been overseas, so I'm really excited. So just experience that whole thing. And we're going to Malaga. It's an island off of Spain. Then we're going to Tel Aviv and then to Berlin, I think. So we're going to go all around there it's going to be about for 15 days. And it was my first time, like I said, so I'm a little nervous as to see how it's all going to go down and make sure I don't offend anybody in there. Because, certain things can offend people, and I'm just trying to stay in my lane, but have a lot of fun at the same time. So
no idea what I'm going to do yet. I know it's going to be something. I know I'll be back home for a little while, probably during the holidays and stuff, but other than that, nothing really in stone.
No big plans?
Not yet.
First off-season after collecting a big league paycheck, you know how to spend it? Come on now.
No, Jake can answer that for you. He might have something over there, but I don't have anything set in stone yet.
I got a couple fishing trips planned with my parents, going out deep sea fishing, a couple overnight trips, but other than that, nothing too crazy.
Where do you go deep sea fishing?
Out of San Diego. I think we got something planned right now with some family, so we're going to go out and do that. But other than that, I'll probably just take care of the dog and hope she's doing all right. I hadn't seen her in a couple months.
Every player would rather be playing come October, but if you're not, might as well enjoy it, whether it's little fishing, vacation, or what have you. And props to the world's greatest tape room there with the Photoshop entertainment for you during the conversation with the Marlins players as to what they are doing during the offseason. What are you doing when baseball is away? Send us your tweets. It's Phillies Marlins Game 2 from Miami. It's coming up next.
Let's Go Places by AT&T U-verse TV. Check availability, 1-800-PICK-AT&T. Rethink possible. By Just for Men, mustache and beard. And by Checkers, feast on. Nice night. Daylight ending, night falling inside Marlins Park. The Phillies and the Marlins get ready to go. The Phillies come to the plate with this lineup. Ryan Sandberg, their newly minted manager. Jan Lexus brings you the lineup. Cesar Hernandez, switch hitter in center. Jimmy Rollins at short. Chase Utley at second. Dominic Brown in left. Darren Ruff in right. Kevin Franzen at first base. Freddie Galvis is at third. Cameron Rupp is behind the plate. And Zach Miner hits ninth.
You know, it's amazing, Rich, with the way the schedule has gone and making his 16th start of the year. Henderson Alvarez, in his career, has never faced the Philadelphia Phillies, so first time for him. Got hurt with the long ball, something he's not done a lot of this year. He's given up just 2 home runs, but a 3-run shot by Bryce Harper hurt him in Washington his last time out. But he gets ready. He'll face the Phillies for the first time.
And, of course, the Phillies and the Marlins last night. Phillies didn't get a run. Marlins won at 4-0. Pinch a Penny's first pitch is a fastball, letter high, a strike to Cesar Hernandez. Hernandez, a versatile guy, infielder by trade, now learning to play center field. He's had a nice month of September for the Phils. 0 for 3 last night. Alvarez pours across, strike 2. And it's 0-2.
Yeah, Hernandez is giving Sandberg and the Philly organization a nice look at what he can do. You talked about Ben Revere, their center fielder. Revere was having a good year, hitting .305, but an ankle injury has put him out.
1-2 pitch. 2 Venezuelans dueling here in Alvarez and Hernandez. Hernandez is 23. His career numbers in the minors, and we talked about it in Philly, really good. .294 average, .351 on base percentage. And he signed young, so 7 years in the minors, now in the big leagues, and just 23. And the pitch is in.
Well, you have a couple of guys like that. Guys facing. Alvarez signed as a 16-year-old with Toronto. He's 23. I guarantee they matched up somewhere along the line.
Or were teammates when at some point. Just over the glove, maybe off the glove. Echeverria comes streaking to the rescue and throws him out. Nice play, easy segue. Marlins defense brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida.
Always fun to go to the defense after a nice defensive play. Yelich, Ruggiano, and Stanton in the outfield. I think that was deflected by Alvarez. Echeverria, Solano up the middle, Lucas over at third base, Lomo at first, and Mathis behind the plate. And the putout does go 1-6-3.
Jimmy Rollins now. Rollins stands in. He was 1 for 4 last night. There weren't a lot of hits to be had for the Phils. Rollins knocks this one into the corner, and he's off to the races. Stanton retrieves it. Rollins has a double. He doubled last night, and he doubles tonight. 34 doubles for Rollins this season. And a 1-out hit brings up Utley and then Dominic Brown.
Jimmy Rollins with his 455th career double. That's more than any Philly in their franchise history.
And that's amazing because it's a franchise that goes all the way back into the 1800s.
And has had some pretty good players over the years.
So here now is Utley. Both Utley and Rollins came into last night's ball game smoking hot. Utley had hit in 6 straight and at a 400 clip in those 6, including that massive series against the Marlins in which he drove in 10 runs in 3 games. A pair of 3-run homers helped him to that.
It's amazing. The Marlins held him 0 for 4 last night.
There's a 1-0. And it's in. Ryan Sandberg, now the permanent manager, 3-year contract for Sandberg. As we discussed last night, rare that a Hall of Famer A is
managing. B, would go to the extent that Sandberg did to get a job, and that is go down and manage in the minor leagues and earn his stripes there, rather than just walk in, throw the resume on the table and say, hey, I'd like to manage.
Yeah, and I think even more so, Rich, after the disappointment in not getting the Cubs job. After he had managed in the minor leagues with the Cubs, most people felt, well, he's paying his dues, he's gone down there, and he did not get the job. So he came over to the Philly organization and managed in their minor league system.
Alvarez got a quick out from Hernandez. Rollins has doubled, and a 3-0 pitch to Utley, who takes in, and Henderson Alvarez, who doesn't give up free passes very often, walks Chase Utley, and Dominic Brown comes to the plate. Emails and tweets tonight, as we've got our final email and Twitter Tuesday. Any questions you got, lob them our way. We'll do our best to answer them. The email Contessa is in the house. Allison Williams, hashtag is it off season? Dominic Brown's going to enjoy his offseason after a very satisfying 2013, and Alvarez misses low and inside. An all-star. As you pointed out last night, his second half numbers blunted a bit by injuries.
Yeah, he had an Achilles injury, suffered a concussion. So in the second half, he's played just 32 games.
The thing you got to like about Brown is his slugging percentage. It's over 500. 21 doubles, 27 homers, 4 triples. And if the Phils are going to go anywhere in the next couple of years, and they expect to add to their payroll, they've kept the big names around, they need the guys like Dominic Brown, the 25-year-old, to continue his progress. They need a Darren Ruff to blossom, a Freddie Galvis, Cody Ashe.
And I think the key for a guy like Dominic Brown and for the Philly organization is Chuck looks on, a little concerned with the lack of control here, which is something that hasn't plagued Henderson Alvarez too much this year. The key with Dominic Brown is this being a breakout year for him. Is he can continue on that same trend? Is this the numbers he has this year? Is that going to be the Dominic Brown they're going to get all the time?
And of course, the Phillies are hoping that they have a healthy and very productive Ryan Howard back in that lineup moving forward. All right, 3-0 pitch, and it's a strike, and it's 3-1. Utley walked. Brown now sitting on a 3-1 pitch, and the first strike was barely a strike, right up at the knees and on the black. Randi Institute helping you with Fox Tracks tonight. Alvarez, a 3-1 coming to Brown. That's a strike.
And a little speed out there, so you would expect with one down and a 3-2 count that Jimmy Rollins and Utley will be on the move.
Yeah, Utley's not being held, so all he has to do is watch Rollins. If Rollins breaks, Utley will get second pretty easily. Rollins is the guy that needs to get the good jump. Not running, and it's in, and the bags are loaded. And right-handed hitter with some pop, Darren Ruff comes up.
Talk about the unusual lack of control. In 12 of Alvarez's 15 starts, he's walked 2 or fewer, and he's already walked 2 here in the first inning.
Alvarez is an intriguing guy when you look towards next season. Obviously, the Marlins haven't seen a full season out of him. He arrived in early July, on the 4th of July. His best month was July. He's had a better September than he did in August. He had a dynamite start on the road trip in New York against the Mets. Beat him 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. Here tonight, already 2 walks, the double by Rollins, bags loaded, and a dangerous guy in Darren Ruff, who has shown some pop not only through the minors, but in his brief stay in the big leagues.
Well, and remember, it was a first inning 3-run homer by Bryce Harper off Alvarez. It put him in a hole in Washington.
He's not coming close right now. He's all over the place. Last night we saw Roy Halladay struggle not only with control but with velocity. Alvarez has his velocity, he just doesn't have his control. And unless he gets it, it's going to be 1-0 here in 2 pitches, with Rollins, Utley, and Brown out on the bags.
Well, last night the Marlins got a first inning run on a bases loaded walk.
That's 3-0. And Alvarez trying to collect himself. You know, at the start of this game, Chuck Hernandez, Mike Redmond had to feel pretty good about the pitching matchup. You had Alvarez, who certainly could get late in the ball game. Zach Miner going for the Phils, who last time the Marlins saw him was on a 60-pitch pitch count. All right, let's see if Ruff turns it loose and if Alvarez can throw a strike.
Yeah, Ruff knows he's going to get that fastball.
And he had a big rip.
He got the fastball and he turned it loose.
Out of Omaha is Darren Ruff, Creighton University.
Had nice little movement to it, got it by him.
Three-two, and it's out, and he walked him. And so Darren Ruff out of Omaha is aboard at first. A run crosses. Kevin Franzen comes up. Let's throw out the first email of the night, and it's from Tommy. Coincidentally, Omaha. Hello from the cornfields. It's from Laura. Just want to say thanks from the bottom of my heart for another season of fine broadcasting. I've been a fan of your telecast since I was about 10. I'm 24 now. This year my health wasn't spectacular, and knowing that I had a Marlins game to watch almost every day or night with familiar voices was daily encouragement for me and really helped. Thanks for the good times, and I hope everyone at Fox Sports Florida has a good off season. P.S. My health much better now.
That's good. Thanks, Laura, and best of health.
Not related to Laura the Ball Girl, but Laura from Omaha. Little tapper slowly hit. Echeverria is going to have one play, and the Phils have got themselves another run. Franzen knocks in a run with a bouncer to short. Remember last night the Marlins had an inning in which they drew 4 walks and scored just 1 run. Well, the Phils have an inning going where they have just 1 hit and they've scored 2 runs.
Well, the Phillies last night were able to get Polanco to hit in that double play. That bailed them out. That's what Alvarez was hoping for there, but Franzen just didn't hit the ball hard enough.
Freddie Galvis hooks one. Lomo way away from the bag, and Alvarez gets there in time on the flip from Solano. So the damage limited to 2, but the Phils off to a solid start, 2-0. have a 2-0 lead here in Miami. It's the bottom of the first. City lights are on. And here come the Fish, brought to you by JM Lexus. Some hot hitters up front with Donovan Solano and Lucas and Christian Yelich. Giancarlo Stanton hits cleanup. Justin Ruggiano 5th. Logan Morrison in the 6th spot plays first. Shortstop Adeiny Echeverria hits 7th. Jeff Mathis behind him. And Henderson Alvarez hits 9th.
And we had a look at the 6'4", 31-year-old Zach Miner in Philadelphia. Got a lot of friends and family in attendance tonight. In that game in Philly, 3 innings, a couple of hits, no runs, threw 61 pitches. And we were told before the game it would be about 60, 65 pitches. So Miner goes out there. He's got himself a little support. I'm sure he's going to try to extend. I'm sure Ryan Sandberg wants him to extend a little bit further than that tonight.
He would like to, especially after using 6 relievers last night in battling the Marlins down to the wire. Miner zings in a fastball for a strike to Solano.
And we had talked about it. Miner was called up early August. His last start before the start in Philadelphia was July 30th. And he was pitching in AAA.
We have an email from Dan in Jacksonville, who is our guy with the Marlins Country Radio. Big debate last night. Tommy and Rich help us out. Question pondered was, does having chemistry help you win games? I'm a person who thinks it doesn't get you wins, but I'm a person who thinks it doesn't get you wins, but does help you get wins. All right.
How about this? How about if you turn it around? When you win, you have chemistry. That seems to happen. But you know what? In listening to interviews of guys with the Red Sox this year, guys with Oakland, guys with Pittsburgh, they all talk about the chemistry their teams have had.
Here's the 2-2. Up the middle. Utley throws him out. Does it translate to wins? I mean, though.
No, I don't think so. I think wins translate to chemistry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ed Lucas now. Christian Yelich will follow.
Mark has a tweet. We'll throw out the first tweet. You've been handling the emails. Mark wants to know who's going to play third base next year.
That is one of the burning questions going into the offseason. Who's going to catch next year? Breaking ball misses outside from Zach Miner.
Unfortunately, Mark, we cannot answer that. We don't know. I mean, it could be somebody that's here, and it could be somebody that's acquired in a trade.
Colin Moran was drafted in the first round this year. Lucas sends one into the gap, right center field. Ruff is there and makes the catch. Let's take a quick peek at the Phils defense with a few new names in there tonight for Ryan Sandberg.
And there is that defense with Dominic Brown and Cesar Hernandez and Ruff in the outfield. Freddie Galva starts at third base. Kevin Franson over at first. No change up the middle. Rollins and Utley. And Cameron Rupp is behind the plate.
All brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic, Florida. So Lucas lines out. Yelich at the plate. Because we're talking chemistry, big part of our team. A-Dub, Allison Williams.
Oh, you guys are so kind. Well, you were speaking a little bit about team chemistry, and we actually had a tweet about that. At EventMan22 said, of the teams Conine played for, which clubhouse had the best team chemistry? And so I reached out to Jeff Conine, and he texted me back. He said the 2003 Fish did, which, of course, was the World Series winning team for the Marlins. So I think it goes hand in hand with what you guys were talking about. It doesn't necessarily take chemistry to win, but you're not going to find many teams that win without it, guys.
Thank you, A-Dub. Nice to have you along tonight. Miner working quickly and working on Yelich with a changeup he just missed outside.
We saw him in Philadelphia. Zach Miner used the good two-seam fastball. He's 92 to 94. Curveball, changeup. And Minor has had experience in both starting and relieving. He first came up in '06 with the Tigers, worked as a starter, and then found himself in the bullpen, did a little bit of both.
The Tommy John surgery certainly knocked him for a bit of a loop. He was out of the big leagues for 3.5 years. 2-2 pitch, sprayed out towards Rollins, waits for a hop, and just got Yelich. Yelich almost beat that throw. 2-0 Phillies after 1. Phillies on top. Marlins and Phillies tomorrow. It finishes off the series. It's the final Kids Eat Free Wednesday. Kids in attendance get a voucher for a free KMB Frank, bag of Frito-Lay chips, small Pepsi or Aquafina water. Get your tickets at marlins.com. Ticket information for not only tomorrow night, but also the weekend series against the Tigers. This is Cameron Rupp, Texas Longhorn. And Cameron Rupp swings and fouls one back. Big catcher, third-round draft pick, 2010.
Split his time this year between AA and AAA.
And if this were a Phillies telecast and we were taking emails, someone might email or tweet in, can Cameron Rupp be the everyday catcher for the Phillies next year? Because Carlos Ruiz, the beloved Chooch, is at the end of his contract. Now the Phillies may pick it up and offer him a nice 3-4 year deal and sign him, or they may move on, go after somebody else. Maybe a guy like Rupp gets a shot.
Good to see a nice comeback by Alvarez after struggling with control in the first inning. Boy, it's a fastball right in the spot that he wanted to put it, in the strike zone for a called third strike. Yeah, Alvarez walking 3 in the first inning.
Well, you get Zach Minor now, so he has a chance, not in a real pressure spot, to fine-tune the control. Hernandez in the top of the order waits on deck.
Most of his career in the American League, but Zach Minor 1 for 10 with a double at the major league level. And when I saw him hit in Little League, he swung the bat pretty well.
Here's the 0-2. Well, that's a A scouting report that Tommy hadn't unearthed from, what, 15 years ago?
Yeah, Little League days, he usually hit third or fourth in high school as well. So Zach Miner with his second major league hit. Yeah, he looked a lot more comfortable on the mound compared to that kind of emergency start in Philadelphia. And he certainly looked comfortable at the plate there.
Little tapper first base side. I'll tell you, the Orioles got some good news today in that the ligament that Manny Machado tore in his knee was the medial patellar. I can't even go further than that. It's a long word. But anyways, it's 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, I had never seen that, actually. I've seen the medial meniscus, the medial lateral. But evidently, as tough as it is to say, it was good news for the Orioles.
For the Phils, they've got questions as to Roy Halladay. The fatigue in his arm, the fastball topping out at 83 yesterday. Halladay will continue on with the team, but won't pitch again this year. And will go into the offseason and try to build arm strength towards next year. One there. Echeverria's turn. Two there. Hernandez can run. They got him by half a step. Henderson Alvarez controlled better in the second. Phillies still up though, 2-0. By AT&T Uverse. Pirates clinch a playoff spot. Can they take the next step? Hashtag ARG, yes. Hashtag ARG, no. I think a lot of people are already rooting for the Pirates. I think they are going to be kind of the darling of the postseason. Everyone's clinched. It's all highlighted there. Now
so
the
right
question,
now, as it stands, they would have to play that one-game play-in against Cincinnati, right?
Yes. And no, it's not a play-in. It's a postseason game.
Postseason game.
Wild card game.
But whoever wins that moves on. But right now, as it stands, that could change. But right now, it would be Pittsburgh against Cincinnati.
Unless, obviously, one of those two teams can catch and pass St. Louis, and then you get a pass right to a division series. Giancarlo Stanton, Justin Ruggiano, Logan Morrison for Miami in the second against Zach Miner. Emails and tweets. Mike tweets, what do you think about trading for Aramis Ramirez or a stopgap third baseman, or maybe an Adrian Beltre? Expensive both, and stopgap maybe Colin Moran we were talking about. Marlins first round pick, third baseman out of North Carolina. Probably at the very least a couple years away. Stanton swings and misses. So that's a point of emphasis, certainly, for the Fish in the offseason. And you never know. The team obviously needs to add offense. They need to add bats.
And the key is, if you acquire those in trades, do you, the Marlins, as an organization, have enough to bring in some quality at bats from a hitter?
And you never know.
That's the key.
There could be a really good bat available that's not a third baseman or a catcher that plays, say, first base, or plays center field, or plays left field. And then all of a sudden you have to adjust with what you've got and reconcile with what you need. Strong man that can shatter a bat and still send a liner into center field. Stan is indeed strong, and he has a base hit.
Well, 3-2 pitch. Gets that fastball up. Minor gets out of the way. And Stanton discards what bat he has left. Wow.
Good follow through, though, with half a bat. Leadoff single, Ruggiano and Morrison against Minor. Fish went down in order in the first. Phillies got 2 in their half of the first. Henderson Alvarez uncharacteristically wild, and that led to 2 runs. We got a tweet from Clifford the Big Red Dog.
I saw that one.
Smacked into left field by Ruggiano. It's in the gap. It's going to go to the wall, and Stanton's got a shot to score. Joe Espada will send him, and around third he comes. Ruggiano digging for third, the throw, and he is out. Ruggiano thrown out at third, trying to stretch it to a triple. Stanton scores, and it's 2-1.
It looked like Ruggiano got a breaking ball, change up maybe, pitch was up, and once it finds that gap in left center, Stanton was on his way. He was going to score. Ruggiano, is he going hard all in? Looked like he was just trying to get to third. It took a perfect relay throw to get him. Good relay throw by Jimmy Rollins.
And they just got him, and here's Morrison. So a run back for the Fish. Morrison getting the start against Minor. Echeverria on deck. Clifford the Big Red Dog, Philly fan, now living in Florida. Always enjoy the telecast, very entertaining, and a very unbiased telecast, especially since he's a Philly fan. Clifford, thanks for watching. Good avatar, too.
Clifford, Big Red Dog.
Morrison rolls one up the middle. Utley gets to it. And over to Franzen for the out. 2 outs here in the second. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority. The Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Counts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. Chris in Jupiter has this question via email. At this point in his career, do you consider Giancarlo Stanton to be a good hitter or merely a dangerous one?
That's a good question. I don't think he's gotten to that good hitter category yet. I think he's dangerous without question. So I would say he has periods where he's a good hitter, but we also see him have periods where he takes some pitches that look very hittable. He's not a 300 hitter. To me, to be a good hitter, you at least have to be at that number. I know Brian Kenny would disagree with that.
Don't you pick a fight with him now. There's a strike to Echeverria.
But I don't know. I think he's got plenty of time. He's 23. So Giancarlo has plenty of time to be a good and dangerous hitter.
Echeverria, a couple hits last night. Quickly, it's 0-2.
Got too much talent not to.
Rupp holds on. Echeverria strikes out. Marlins get one back on a single by Stanton, a double by Ruggiano.
For Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
Phillies fish. 2-1 ball game. Henderson Alvarez an awful first, a much better second, and a 2-1 Philadelphia lead. 3 walks, 3 consecutive walks in that first. Walking a run in. Kevin Franzen with a ground ball out scored the other run. Rollins opened that inning with a 1-out double. And he's up here with Utley and Brown behind him on an email and Twitter Tuesday, our last of the year. Rollins hooks it into the seats.
First pitch breaking ball because Jimmy Rollins jumped on a first pitch fastball in that first inning when he doubled.
Jimmy Rollins wearing the iconic wooden cap tonight, our Cholula Hot Sauce Spotlight player. 10-game hit streak for Rollins. Extended it with a double last night. He's already doubled tonight. 6 doubles in those 10 games. Roller to second. Solano throws to first in time. Tim in Port Charlotte. Retired to Florida 11 years ago. Die-hard Philly fan. But a tip of the cap to the broadcast team. I think you're the best away announcers. So we're getting some love from Philly fans. Although
yeah, that's good.
Fighting Phil says, you guys are terrible. I hope you choke on a cheesesteak.
Well, we had some good cheesesteaks in the booth last night.
I made that one up, so I was trying to balance out the...
Oh, okay.
Rollins is out number 1. Here's Utley.
All right, I got one for you from Matthias. Wants to know who our Marlins MVP is, hitter and pitcher.
Well, pitcher's easy.
Pitcher's easy, but it's hard to not throw Steve Cishek in the conversation. We know Jose Fernandez, but Cishek's been tremendous out of the bullpen.
If it were an award show, I think what we would do is we would have Cishek present the award to Jose Fernandez.
All right. After having an ERA over 5 in April, settled down, he's got a streak alive, and has put together a really nice year.
Maybe Amy Poehler could come up and do a little bit with him on the podium.
And hitter, we talked a little bit about last night, I think. Marlins MVP hitter. Probably would go with Stanton.
Just for sheer numbers.
Yeah, just because of numbers.
And impact. And the hope is, obviously, with Stanton there in right field next year, that the young hitters grow and that there are a few bats added, and that whatever that concoction is, that stew of a lineup produces more runs.
a few bats added to help Stanton, to give him a little protection in that lineup. And Luis tweets, what are the chances of Stanton signing another contract? Now, that's not our category, but I would say if he's not here, you better be blown away with a really good deal, and you better get a hitter, because Stanton's the main guy in the lineup right now.
Well, Giancarlo's under club control through 16, I believe. But he's headed towards arbitration. There's a 2-2. Pulled down the first baseline, foul. Stan and Stan, who've been with us all year in Asheville. Tommy.
Yeah.
Did players keep their index finger outside of the mitt when you were a kid?
Well, when I was a kid, I don't remember, but I did as a player, as a professional. I did.
Because the elder stand says in the 50s, no one did that. That one rolls into right field.
And I was a kid in the 50s,
so you did it as a player, but maybe not as a kid.
Maybe not as a kid, yeah.
I remember one of the guys when I was growing up that did it, and they modeled gloves after it. It was very popular, and he wore a batting glove under his baseball glove as well. Bobby Grich.
Oh, yeah. Terrific. You talk about a hard-nosed second baseman. Did not want a head-first slide on a steal or a pickoff attempt if Grich was covering the bag.
No, because he'd drop that knee and he'd
would
separate your shoulder. Brown lines one to right. Stanton is there, makes the catch. Utley has to hustle back to first.
There are two guys that I vividly remember that did that. Didn't play against Grich as much, but I knew he did. The other, Tim Foley, shortstop, Pirates, Expos.
Not to be confused with Tom Foley, but
no.
Tim Foley a little grittier. There's Darren Ruff. Bases loaded walk. Picked up RBI number 30. Back in the first. Fastball outside corner. In fact, Stan, the elder Stan, points out that in the movie 8 Men Out, there was an expert hired to make it authentic, but he goofed because players had their fingers outside of the gloves in the movies. Did not notice that.
But usually, I know you're the same as I am. When you see a baseball-oriented movie, you usually pick apart some of the things that wouldn't happen or wouldn't be done.
Unless you're weeping while you're watching Field of Dreams. Utley the runner at first. There's 2 outs. Alvarez wild to start with. And hasn't walked anyone since 3 consecutive walks back in the first. This is out. Darren Ruff. You can hear Todd Tichenor, the home plate umpire, say it's out.
I'm not sure if Alvarez wanted it or thought it was in the zone, and I think it's a little bit of both.
Pitch number 4. Looked like it just caught the black. That's a real tough spot, I would think, for an umpire. Is a ball that's on the edge of the black and at the bottom of the zone or at the top of the zone, because you're measuring 2 things at the same time. Is it up? Is it out? Umpires generally 96-97% of the time are right on balls and strikes as graded on that Fox Tracks technology. wonder if each umpire has, like, in umpire lingo, his perfect game. The game where he scored the highest in terms of balls and strikes. Utley on the move, a liner into right on a hop. Stanton picks it up. Utley didn't stop. This is going to be close. A laser, and it's wide of the bag, and Utley gets there. Well, Stanton had plenty of oomph on it. He just didn't line it up correctly. Good hustle by the veteran Chase Utley.
Yeah, you can see Stanton shaking his head. He knew he had it out if he makes the throw on line. He just threw a little bit off line. Talking about oomph, Darren Ruff had a little oomph on that swing. Hit the ball hard. And, yeah, Utley would have been out if the throw was on line, but the throw kind of sailed on him. And once Lucas moved off the bag, you saw Utley just cruise into third. But a ball hit really hard by Darren Ruff.
Kevin Franzen now. Franzen, a former San Francisco Giant. Smokes one up the middle, and he got a break. Did Alvarez. The ball hit the mound. It elevated it for Solano, who gets the out at second. Still 2-1.
Stanton are going to Ibiza, and we're going to go out there, I think, just to visit out there, just see what. I've never been overseas, so I'm really excited. So just experience that whole thing. And we're going to Malaga. It's an island off of Spain. Then we're going to Tel Aviv and then to Berlin, I think. So we're going to go all around there for, it's going to be about for 15 days. And it was my first time, like I said, so I'm a little nervous as to see how it's all going to go down and make sure I don't offend anybody in there, because, you know, certain things can offend people, you know, and I'm just trying to stay in my lane, you know, but have a lot of fun at the same time. So.
How about the visuals there? I wonder if they will pack their House of Adam suits to their trip to Ibiza. Now, this will be A.J. Ramos' first time starring in the European vacation, but you'll remember this is kind of the sequel. Last year, it featured Giancarlo Stanton and Ricky Nolasco, who went to London, Paris, Madrid, and Barcelona. So A.J. will get his first experience going over to Europe. He's definitely looking forward to it, and I think he has a very capable tour guide in Giancarlo Stanton. Said he's just going to kind of follow his lead, and joke that when Europeans see the two of them walking around side by side together, they'll surely think they're both professional wrestlers or something, because they're both so large in stature, guys.
Now, and I guess you have to explain to the kids at home, the House of Adam isn't at the clothing store in Cincinnati, right?
Yes, it is the clothing store that has become an annual shopping trip whenever we are in Cincinnati to play the Reds. Usually at the beginning of the year, you can see the suits there. Oh, they were pretty classic. AJ kind of 70s inspired, and Stanton, what they call him, like the purple Bigfoot or something, Barney, after they strutted their stuff over to the ballpark on the Sunday getaway day in Cincinnati. It's become a tradition, always a lot of fun. They were looking sharp, or attention grabbing, we'll say that much.
Hey, I think it's great that you have a couple of young players who they're both single, so they don't have obligations with families, and they take it upon themselves to go over to Europe and take some visits into cities that well, maybe a lot of people never get a chance to do. I think that's great.
Jeff Mathis at the plate. And he swings and misses a breaking ball. Counts 2 balls and 2 strikes. Henderson Alvarez, Donovan Solano in the third. Again, Zach Miner, 1-run Philly lead.
Much better command by Zach Miner tonight. Remember, 61 pitches in 3 innings in Philadelphia. There's a good changeup that gets Mathis. And that was pitch number 32. So he's much more efficient in this one here.
Our crack staff is spread across the United States. And
yeah, they are.
They come in all shapes and sizes.
And ages.
Easy there. This one happens to be a slick fielding infielder that spent almost 10 years in the big leagues, and informs us that finger out of the glove, early 60s is when it started, and that coincides with the arrival time in the big leagues of one Woody Woodward. Now, I'm not saying that Woody is the one that is giving us the information, but he is a member of the crack staff.
And was a slick fielding infielder.
Yes, he was, for the Braves and the Reds.
So he may have seen Bill Mazeroski turn that double play with that finger out of the glove at second base.
Now, it became so popular for players that even pitchers were doing it. The problem was a lot of pitchers were tipping their pitches with that finger. Alvarez hammers the ball to left field. My goodness, when he runs into one, he really runs into one.
Well, both pitchers had base hits. Miner got a hard line drive single up the middle of Alvarez, and Alvarez just pummels this ball. And you're right. Remember the home run he hit at Wrigley Field, a 3-run shot.
He's had, if he had a full season of this, he might be in line for a Silver Slugger.
He came into the game hitting .320. He was 8 for 25, so he's now 9 for 26.
He's got 3 doubles, a homer, and 6 runs driven in. He's in scoring position, and no one better on the Marlins with runners in scoring position this year than Donovan Solano, who again last night had a key hit to drive in a run. And that was in the 8th inning. Solano takes outside. To finish the finger story, pitchers had their fingers out of the gloves, and hitters were picking up because pitchers apparently were adjusting their finger to the pitch that they were throwing, how they were gripping the ball with their other hand. Wow, 104 miles an hour off the bat. That's Stanton-esque.
I mean, he gets into the triple digits in the bat speed.
Pitch misses inside. So some enterprising glove maker. Look at that.
See, he's got the finger out,
but he's got a little cover.
But there's a cover,
like a sheath.
Yeah.
Solano fouls that one into the glove. It's 2-2. Alvarez at second. Outfield playing Solano to right center. And he drives it that way, but it's to right. Rough. Alvarez is going to tag and thinks better of it. He'll hold at second base. The season for the Marlins ends with a visit from Miggy and his friends like Omar and Anibal. Marlins and Tigers, final fireworks Friday of the season. It's a 7:10 start. You get the Sir Pizza 4-pack for just $60. Celebrate Star Wars night at the ballpark. After the game, enjoy a fireworks spectacular presented by MetLife. Marlins.com for ticket information.
Unofficially, and I say this because we haven't seen the notes, but unofficially, I have some feelers out. The Marlins will see Rick Porcello, Anibal Sanchez, and Justin Verlander in the finale.
That's quite a finale. Ed Lucas up. Lucas lined to right his first time, and that was back in the first. Zach Meyer worked a 1-2-3 first. Marlins got a run in the second. Lucas fouls it back.
Ed Lucas with a terrific September. Since September 9th, batting average over 370 with 6 doubles.
Minor buries the changeup, and it counts 3-1.
Talked about Zach Minor when he made his major league debut with the Tigers in '06. He lost that debut, but then ran off 6 consecutive wins. And his pitching coach there was Chuck Hernandez.
That one fouled over the screen. Louie with a tweet. Louie, it's good to have you on. And thanks for being part of email and Twitter.
Louie's been on board a few times. Louie or Luis? You got to figure it out.
It just says Louie on the tweet. I would hate to see the Bucks get in, then lose a game after playing their hearts out for 162. It's cruel, baseball is.
You know, that's why you should win the division.
Well, Louie thinks maybe 3 games. A little mini 3-game playoff.
Hey, as it is now, the last game of the World Series, if it goes 7 innings, is the last day of October.
Pirates clinch playoff spot. Can they take the next step? Arg, yes. Hashtag in front, arg, no.
I just like to say arg, yes, or arg, no.
Yes, you do.
Not sure if that's a happy pirate or an angry pirate.
Lucas walks, and that gets Yelich to the plate with runners at first and at second. Alex the Terp probably feeling pretty good after this weekend. Maryland dismantled West Virginia on the gridiron. Please pass this on to the front office. Too much of the all-black caps. I like the red-orange bill and button. So Alex the Terp likes the red-orange bill, the red-orange button with the black cap.
A lot of times when the Marlins travel, the cap that we see most in other cities is the red-orange cap. Kevin has a good tweet, Rich, and it's something I know when we had a discussion with Perry Hill about it, it made sense. Kevin says, how come Echeverria doesn't rate well in defensive metrics?
Yelich pops it foul. We posed that question to Perry Hill, and one of the things that Perry Hill does with his infielders is align them specifically per hitter and pitcher. And so in Perry's mind, one of the things that fielders are rewarded for is having great range or having to go a long way to make a play. But in Perry's mind, if you're positioned correctly, you don't have to go a long way to make a lot of plays. The other thing, and I've heard people who use those advanced metrics for defense say that oftentimes the advanced defensive metrics, you almost need 2 or 3 seasons combined to look at it rather than in Echeverria's case.
Yeah,
not quite a full season.
I would agree with that because, you know, some years you just may have a lot of balls hit to your left. Some years it depends on your pitching staff.
The best story I've heard about that was Raul Ibanez, who, when he was in Seattle one year, just had awful, I forget the number, whether it was zone rating or range factor. Here's a 3-2. And it's thankfully fouled off so I can finish the story. And the next
because
year,
there are 2 out.
Yeah, and 2 strikes. And the next year, Ibanez was a Philly in a much smaller left field. And his range factor or zone rating or whatever it was shot way up and was actually one of the better ones in the first half in the league, and Ibanez said, I'm the same guy. I've got the same range. It's just a smaller outfield.
Smaller outfield, different pitching staff, too.
Yelich bangs it off of Minor, who picks it up and throws him out. Miami leads a couple and trails the Phillies 2-1.
Which allowed him to hear. He had a progressive hearing loss, and he went around the country here in the recent months during the baseball season to all 30 ballparks. He had an unfortunate accident on the way here. A truck actually clipped him with the mirror, and that injured him a little bit, but it didn't stop him from coming here and finishing your journey. I know it was a long one. You're raising money and awareness. Congratulations. How are you doing, first of all?
How did I do it?
How are you doing?
Very good, very good. I'm very happy I don't have to ride my bike for a little while. You know what I mean? I wish I could ride my bike, but I'm glad that I don't have to, you know?
You rode your bike 10,666 miles. You never took off either. When you went to a hotel, you went back to the same spot.
What?
You went, we're speaking now, and it's very loud here in the crowd. You went back to the same spot to earn every mile.
Yeah, every mile was ridden. We'd have to drive sometimes 30 miles to the next town in like Montana and South Dakota. Some places in New Mexico, everything got really, really spot out. I mean, like we'd have to drive 20 miles to the hotel, 20 miles back the next morning, always at the same spot.
How much money do you hope to raise? It's at jacobsride.com for more information. You can text for $10?
Yeah, if you text Jacob to 50555, it's an automatic $10 donation that will appear on your cell phone bill, and that would help us out. We're trying to raise $200,000. We're at about 140 right now.
Good for you, and you came here to this ballpark because that's got in left field. The incident, your cousin was riding behind you. It was a hit-and-run truck that caught with the mirror, and you were on the bike and you took a tumble.
Yeah, I don't remember it at all. They believe it was the mirror that hit me. We're not even sure if the truck driver realized he hit me because he left, he didn't stop. And I was just very, very lucky that I had somebody on the road with me that prevented me from getting up and stumbling back onto the road. He pretty much saved my life that night.
And here you are. You wanted to complete the trip. You weren't allowed doctor's orders to be on a bike for a few weeks. So today you walked your bike in here. How did that feel for you?
I mean, it felt, I don't think it was the same feeling I would have gotten if I had ridden here. When I got out of the hospital and I realized that the ride was over. And we were going to be driving to Marlins Park and doing whatever they asked us to do, walk back in, whatever. I just remember when I left the hospital and the ride was over, I was definitely pretty emotional when that happened.
Good job for you again, raising awareness and money for cochlear implant. It really helped you because your hearing had gone down. Yeah. Congratulations, and I don't know what to say. You did a great job.
Thank you.
JacobsRide.com, again, is the spot. The group is in the way of our shot. Move over. Rich, back to you.
All right, it's a terrific story for sure. Zach Miner is at the plate with 2 outs. Stacy in South Palm Beach, used to be Stacy from Wellington, had just sent us an email that she was just going to ask us if we were going to comment on the Jacob Landis story, and we did one better. We brought Jacob Landis. His Miner slips as he swings and gets a smile on that. Miner cracked one into the outfield for a line drive hit back in the 2nd. That's a strike as well. Our producer John Sulzer also took a tumble on his bike this weekend.
We were happy to have him continue on with us.
Struck him out. Alvarez has really tightened up since that loose first inning. 2-1 Phillies on top. Honda dealer for great lease and finance deals on fuel-efficient Hondas. By Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. And by Hialeah Park Casino, a world of entertainment. Come and live it, now open. Email and Twitter Tuesday, final one of the season, 2-1 Phillies on top of the fifth, bottom of the 4th. Rich Welts, Tommy Hutton.
Rich, I like it. We get tweets from folks at the ballpark. Jack sends out a tweet. He says, I love Marlins Park. There are no bad seats in the whole stadium. The view's great from anywhere you sit. Jack's in section 136. So having a nice time tonight.
We had an earlier tweet. I don't know if it was Alex the Turk or Marlins fan 27 that wanted to know, I think it was Marlins fan 27, if can we please get a rant from both of you guys tonight? Thank you. As Giancarlo Stanton is up there right now. I think for Tommy to rant, all I need to do is ask him, have you updated the apps on your iPhone yet?
No, I don't want to confuse myself. No, I thought you were going to ask me to rant. I could go on about Nelson Cruz.
That's right.
Who was suspended this year, accepted the 50-game suspension. And the reason he accepted that He's with Texas because he's a free agent. So he basically turned his back on his team and not played the games. He could have continued to play.
He would have had to appeal the suspension, much like Alex Rodriguez.
Then he might have had to serve it next year. Might have cost him in free agency. Well, now the team is talking about having him back and allowing him to be on the active roster in postseason. That I can't believe.
He's been training in the team facilities, and that's a big if the Rangers are able to get to the postseason.
Because right now their offense is dying, and a lot of it because of the absence of Nelson Cruz.
Not quite a full-blown rant, but a pretty good pointed comment from Tommy Hunt. Justin Ruggiano now. The Marlins got their run in the second. Stanton had singled. Ruggiano blasted one in the gap in left center. Stanton was going to score easily, but Ruggiano tried to stretch the double into a triple and got thrown out. He sends one into left field. He's got another base hit. So he's aboard. Morrison comes up. Tommy, after last week's stunning showdown between two of the house's top fighters, the tension between Team Rousey and Team Tate spills over into the locker room in what's being called the new best rivalry in sports. Don't miss the all-new episode of The Ultimate Fighter tomorrow at 10 Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1. The new best rivalry in sports. Rousey-Tate. Yankees, Red Sox,
Cubs, White Sox, Cardinals, Cubs, and who was
Florida, Georgia,
yeah, and who
Alabama, Auburn, Rousey and Tate. Well, anything that spills into the locker room is heated, so I may watch just to see it spill into the locker room.
Watching Fourth wants to know, where are the mermaids and the manatees?
We went all year without a manatee question.
Yeah, we did. After falling behind 2-0, Minor with a visit from his catcher.
Morrison at the plate. You know, Stan and Stan are prolific emailers. And they bring up a question. What do you fellows expect from Logan Morrison? I was just roundly criticized at one stand because I think he got a very good swing, can hit 280. Runner goes, pitches a strike. The throw is not in time. A stolen base for Ruggiano.
Number 15 for Ruggiano. Pretty good jump. Throw was there, but just not quite in time.
So on this, I mean, Stan not only are sending us emails, but they participate in a variety of baseball blogs. Stan got smacked down verbally because he thinks Morrison will be a 280 to 320 hitter with gap power on two healthy legs. One knowledgeable fan, and this is Stan writing still, says that with two knee operations, he'll never be able to play more than 110 to 120 games without his knee periodically swelling. I read some comments from Morrison about the fact that his legs do feel healthy for the first time in 2 years. And the one thing that he's battled this year is just trying to figure out how to get the swing back, how to keep it when he feels it's going well, how to change it when he feels it's not going well.
And Lomo does tinker with his swing, but he's got to get, I think, a little more consistent with it. And I know you and I talked a month or so ago about the fact that next year he would be a full year, far removed from the knee surgery, to be able to play and swing on knees that should keep him healthy all year.
Yeah, that's one of the things you forget about Morrison, is that his last couple of spring trainings before this spring training, he was battling the injury and didn't have a full spring. And of course this year he didn't join the ball club until June, so he didn't have a spring training. He had to go down and play in some minor league rehab games. So Stan, I hope you're right. I hope Morrison does turn into that 280 to 320 with gap power hitter on two healthy legs.
Well, former Marlins pitching coach Rich Doobie, Phillies pitching coach, trying to straighten out Zach Miner, who has lost a little control in this inning. A couple of men on, one down.
Now Miner's at 66 pitches. That was kind of the happy zone his last start. Probably 75 to 80. I think if the Phils got him through this inning, they'd probably be pretty happy with the effort. And if he gets out of this inning quickly, he might be able to go another.
And remember, he's starting in the place of these two starts, the one in Philadelphia and the one hitter tonight. He's starting in place of Kyle Kendrick, who is out for the rest of the year with some shoulder issues. And so that's why Miner's getting the opportunity.
Pitch misses outside. James in Homestead, please show his favorite Marlin moment, which is of Preston Wilson stealing home. Forgot the team. The catcher apparently was lobbing the ball back to the mound real high, and Preston took off and swiped it. Next time we see Preston, we'll have to ask him. Pitch misses away. Echeverria pulls a ground ball out there. Utley's turn, safe. Echeverria, Galvis had to hurry. Utley made a clean turn, but Etch, leaning out on the swing, was able to get it and beat it at first.
Yeah, ball is chopped high like that's a little difficult to turn two.
And he clearly beat it.
And he did.
So that leaves it up to Jeff Mathis if the Marlins are going to get anything out of this fourth. Mathis actually has a little protection behind him in Henderson Alvarez, who smoked a double in the third. Breaky ball misses outside from Miner.
Got a good tweet from Jeremiah asking about the differences in this Marlins team and the Marlins team of 1998. Of course, that Marlins team of 98 lost 108 games.
Mike Redmond was on both.
The one biggest difference is that the pitching on this club is better. If you look at the 98 team, Brian Meadows had an ERA over 5 and won 11 games.
I'll bet you the offense on the 98 team was better.
The offense was better. Cliff Floyd had a very solid year. Cliff hit 282, 22 home runs, 90 RBIs. But you're right, the offense, a little more offense on that team, but the pitching wasn't near what it has been this year on this year's club. Those are probably the biggest differences.
No, Alvarez would like another shot at Miner. Let's see if Mathis gets something to hit 3-1. He did. He had a fastball right down the middle and missed it. was letter high. Echeverria beyond the way from first. Ruggiano's at third. And he swings right through another fastball and strikes out. And Miami leads 2 more. We're back after this injury prevention message from the Cleveland Clinic, Florida.
Final email Twitter Tuesday of the year, so make sure you guys chime in, send us your questions at Fox Marlins, hashtag off season today, or you can also go to foxsportsflorida.com, click on Game Connect and ask the broadcast. So we're talking off season, and one of the questions the Marlins will try to answer is finishing out the bottom few spots in their rotation. It was a question that Daryl Williams sent us in. He said, who do you guys think will be the fish 4 and 5 starters? Jose, Nathan, and Henderson, I think, should be set as 1, 2, and 3. And I'll send that question up to Rich and Tommy. That 4 and 5 spot, maybe some question marks. Has Jacob Turner locked it in? Tom Kohler, do you guys think those will be the starters for the Marlins next year, or do you think there could be some other names thrown in there?
Hey, Dub, I think there'll be a lot of competition in spring training for those rotation spots. I think that the back of the rotation is wide open. I think the names that you mentioned will be competing. Turner for sure. I think Kohler's last 2 starts have shown what the Marlins have seen him do during his time in the organization, which is win and come up and be consistent in the strike zone.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll make for some good competition in the spring. And we could see some of the pitchers we heard about a little bit this year. Certainly Jacob Turner will get an opportunity. We could see Brian Flynn get some opportunity. Andrew Heaney, perhaps. Justin Nicolino. Anthony Desclafani. I mean, those are names that we may see in the spring.
You do a good Desclafani there.
Desclafani.
That's not an easy name to pronounce.
No.
I think with a pitching staff so young and unproven at the big league level, full of promise for sure, you don't guarantee anything. I don't think the Marlins
possibly could have been a mistake with Jacob Turner this spring.
Well, the Marlins and Turner, I think, learned a valuable lesson. Turner especially. Turner has talked about not having the best of springs. He was well aware of that, and I'll guarantee you, whatever he did in the offseason, last offseason, he won't repeat this upcoming offseason.
I have a feeling he'll be very prepared.
Cesar Hernandez, Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley against Henderson Alvarez. 5th inning, 2-1 Phils. In the air, left center. It's hit pretty well. Ruggiano and Yelich, and it's Yelich who makes a nice running catch. Time now for the Just for Men Mustache and Beard Play Like a Champ profile among second basemen with runners in scoring position. Well, Matt Carpenter, everyone with a Cardinal hat on at any position has had a great year with runners in scoring position. But look at Donovan Solano, even better than Brandon Phillips, Chase Utley, Daniel Murphy.
Yeah, we talked about the Cardinals. Of the 6 hitters, the first 6 hitters, the top 6 hitters in the league, hitting with runners in scoring position, 5 of them are Cardinals.
Solano, backhand pick, fires to first, and Rollins is out. Toyota trend tonight with the Phils and the Marlins playing game 2 of a 3-game set. Phils have not been good on the road lately, losing 20 of their last 25 games. You can see it's been a problem with offense for the Phils on the road.
28 and 47 overall for the Phillies on the road. See if I get a quick one in from Rick. A tweet. How's the Chris Coghlan at third base experiment going? Think he makes the roster next season? My opinion is it's going, but I think if the Marlins had plans for Coghlan to be the everyday third baseman next year, we'd see him out there every day here in September. I think it's going to see if he can be a player who can play you some third, go into left field or right field, complement your bench as a left-handed hitter.
I think down the road, too, you'll see Coghlan at first base if that continues, as they try to see if he can play multiple positions. And I think there's a chance if he can, he'll be on the roster. Thanks for the tweet, Rick. 2-1, Phillies.
She's ready to give birth to her first, so we're really excited about that. We're ready to settle down and take some time off before I get back to work.
You said you're looking forward to relaxing, but you understand you're about to have a child. That's not going to happen.
Well, yeah, but I'm not going to be out doing early work at 2:30 every day either. So I'll take a little time off baseball before I get back on the field. But yeah, you're probably right. I won't be probably getting quite as much sleep as I usually do.
Wait a minute. He went to Dartmouth and he said she's about to pop.
Hey, it's we wish the Lucases, Ed and Holly, the best. I know he was that last road trip. Just about every time I saw Ed before the game or after the game, he was on the phone. He just wanted to make sure he got through that 10-day road trip to get back home here.
And if you see Ed running off the field in the middle of an inning, you know that something's happening.
Well, Michael Stutz comes on. So Philadelphia, Brian Sandberg did get a little longer outing from Zach Miner. Extended him a little bit more. He went 4 innings, gave up just the 1 run, gave up 4 hits, had 3 strikeouts.
Because we've been into the tweets and the emails, we really haven't had a chance to update what's going on in baseball with some important games. Anything dealing with the 3 teams out of the National League Central is important. The Cardinals have a 2-game lead over the Reds and the Pirates. Everybody playing tonight. The Reds, we'll start with them, down 4-1 to the Mets in the bottom of the 4th. Cincinnati at 90 wins, just like Pittsburgh. The Pirates are in Chicago and lead the Cubs 3-0, bottom 2nd. So you Buck fans, Louie, that means you.
Yeah, Pirates have Garrett Cole on the mound.
That's good news for you. Now the Cardinals.
Cole has driven in their 2 runs, or 2 of their runs.
Cardinals are scoreless with the Nationals, and that's in the 3rd. Alvarez takes 2-2. Alvarez doubled back in the 3rd.
You see, I think that's it is a Gio Gonzalez game for the Nationals pitching against St. Louis.
Boy, Alvarez smokes another one. Terrific play by Galvis, who throws him out. Henderson Alvarez can really swing it.
See, a guy like him is lost in the American League. That's a waste. What a pick. He got robbed by Galvis. That's just a got to get down, slide, pick it, see if I get it. And if I get it, I'll throw him out.
Solano stands in. 2 other teams to watch tonight, Cleveland and Texas. Cleveland is tied with the White Sox 1-1 in the 6th. The Indians right now have by a game the 2nd wild card spot, and the closest to them is Texas. Texas is playing Houston, whom they smoked last night. But right now, Houston has a 1-0 lead over the Rangers in the top of the 3rd. Kevin Franzen makes the catch. Solano pops out. FP&L brings you a playoff scoreboard, so with playoff implications. Tigers and Twins scoreless. There's that Indian score. The Rays a 3-0 lead in the 5th. Mets lead the Reds now 4-1, bottom 4. Pittsburgh a 3-0 lead in Chicago. And your Washington St. Louis game. I'll tell you another 2 games to watch tonight. With home field advantage implications, Boston is playing at Colorado, believe it or not. It's an oddity. Oakland is at Los Angeles. Oakland is a game behind Boston for home field advantage in the American League half of the postseason.
I kind of like the way that's played out, because teams that clinch still want to have that home field advantage. So they're not just going to pack it in for a couple of days. They're going to go out there and try to win games so they can play more games at home.
And I like the way that the wild card teams are still fighting tooth and nail if they're close enough to win the division, because they want to stay out of that wild card game. Whereas before, there were teams that would wrap up the wild card and be on equal footing with the 3 division winners.
A couple of individual things to check on. Right now, Michael Kadire has a 7-point lead on Chris Johnson, who is not in the lineup tonight. Johnson for the Braves.
Stutz 2-2.
And for the Rockies, Michael Kadire is. He's batting 5th.
That is strike 3 called. Stutz bends one in there and gets Lucas. Michael Stutz comes in with a 1-2-3 fifth. 2-1 Phils. Fill it. A participating Chevron. Get $8 home run porch or $18 home plate box tickets. Visit your local Chevron or Marlins.com/Chevron for details. Restrictions apply. Hey, it's email and Twitter Tuesday. It's the last one of the season. If you want to get in on the show, go to FoxSportsFlorida.com. Go to the Marlins page, then click on Game Connect, and then click on Ask the Broadcast, and then fire away. Alvarez, a slow breaking ball, misses down low. Dominic Brown, Darren Ruff, Kevin Franzen. Phillies half of the 6th and a 2-1 Philly lead. Jim has this question. What is a greater sports feat? Jim, with a Boston background, Red Sox coming back from 0-3 to beat the Yankees 4-3, and the Dave Roberts stolen base in Game 4. Little tapper and a flip to first to get the out. Or USA coming back from 1-8 to beat New Zealand 9-8 in America's Cup.
Not even close.
If it happens Wednesday, winning 7 straight races would be pretty amazing. And by the way, Fort Lauderdale is a yachting community. So,
well, I think the baseball community in the Boston area, I'm going to go out on a limb, is probably a little larger than the yachting community. So I would think the Boston comeback over the Yankees would be a greater feat.
Well, I mean, greater feat. I mean, winning 7 in a row when you're down, those were, I don't know what they call yachting.
They haven't done it, though.
Is it a match? Is it a race?
I would guess a race.
Elimination race.
But see, they haven't done it yet. So that's a hypothetical question from Jim up in New England. But we appreciate it.
Jim, one of our most loyal viewers and emailers. 0-2 coming. Ruff waited on it, sends it to the deep part of the park. A high, majestic drive that Ruggiano catches.
So just a nice comeback after the shaky first inning of Henderson Alvarez, giving up a couple of runs. He walked 3, gave up just 1 hit through 26 pitches. And look at how the pitch counts have gone down for him. He'll get one more start go the last day of the season.
Bob wants to know, guys, have you ever seen a pitcher get a loss after pitching just a third of an inning like Halladay did last night? I can't remember one in the past. Thanks for the entertainment this year. My wife and I rarely miss a game. I've seen a guy not get an out.
Yeah, I saw Craig Swan, right-hander with the Mets. He did not get an out. He walked the first hitter. It was, I believe, Tim Raines. Raines took off to steal, and the catcher for the Mets threw to second, but he threw low, and it hit Swan in the ribs. Broke his ribs. He had to come out of the game. Raines eventually scored, which was his run. The Mets never took the lead. It was a bad day for Craig Swan because he also had to go on the disabled list. He got the loss and had to go on the DL. But it was Roy Halladay's shortest outing.
It's a good story. Not for Craig Swan, but no, the whole rib thing was a nice twist. Ruggiano makes the catch. Alvarez works a brief 1-2-3 sixth. 2-1 Phils on top.
Parents going out deep sea fishing, a couple overnight trips, but other than that, nothing too crazy.
Where do you go deep sea fishing?
Out of San Diego. I think we got something planned right now with some family, so we're going to go out and do that. But other than that, I mean, I'll probably just take care of the dog and hope she's doing all right. I haven't seen her in a couple months.
All night long, we've been hearing from players about their off-season plans. The Phillies dip into their bullpen.
Yeah, their plans right now are to bring in J.C. Ramirez in a double switch. Kevin Franson leaves the game. John Mayberry comes in to play right field. And Darren Ruff moves in to play first. So Mayberry hits ninth and Ramirez hits in Franson's spot.
Here is Yelich. The Phillies have some of the best game notes in the National League. Would you agree?
I agree. They have some pertinent and easy to find information.
And you always like game notes that give you the good stuff or the bad stuff.
Yeah. Some teams only give you their good stuff.
Right. Well, with Ramirez, I looked at his note and I was a little stunned to see it because I thought I misread it. But it says he has allowed an earned run in 10 consecutive appearances while posting an ERA of 11.5. So this is a guy that has had a rough spell coming out of the bullpen.
Well, an opportunity, if things hold true, for the Marlins to tie this game if he gives up an earned run.
Now, he started his major league career in July, and he faced the first 17 hitters and didn't give up a hit. So he's had a really nice run, and now he's on a bit of a rough patch. Lewis in Tamarack. Carl Pavano didn't get an out in a game in Boston in 2003.
That's right.
Marlins lost something like 20-9, or just an awful score like that. Boston was hitting Marlin relievers late in the game so badly that Tommy had one of his all-time rants apparently in that game. See, I wasn't here. That was Len in 03. But next time I see Len, I'll ask him.
Yeah, it was, I think, one of the Boston pitchers. There was a little bit of a knockdown duel going on. Some things that didn't fit the score.
Yelich into center field. Big turn. Good hustle by Hernandez to cut it off. Yelich has a leadoff hit here in the 6th.
Always a little bit easier to get to that pitch that's up. And Yelich, boy, just stays on the pitch up. If that pitch is down, it's a tougher pitch for a hitter. Yelich makes it look easy. Mr. Dimples wants to know. He has a question, Rich.
Mr. Dimples. Love Mr. Dimples.
He said, if you could anoint a team captain for next year, who would it be?
I don't know, Guy Carbonneau?
Yeah, there aren't many captains in baseball. David Wright, Derek Jeter. And I'm hard pressed right now to think if there are any others. So I don't think it's as common in baseball as in other sports.
And I think you really have to be careful with that. I think you can't just. I don't think the Marlins have a guy that you would want to anoint as a captain.
It's got to be a guy who is going to be out there and playing all the time. A guy when he's not 100% is going to be playing all the time. Who has some leadership qualities.
You can look at other teams, and I don't know if Buster Posey is a captain or not, but that would be a guy you would select. That one skips over, and I think Yelich is going to get down there anyway because he saw the ball skip in the stand. So while Perry Hill was screaming for him to get up and run, Yelich had seen the ball already go into the seats.
Yelich is saying, easy, easy, Bone, easy. I think the ball hit him. It's the second time he got hit while he's been on the bases. Let's see. Yeah, it gets him right in the middle of the back. But good awareness seeing the ball go into the stands.
So in scoring position, Stanton into the back, center field. This might be fun. Hernandez lines it up, makes the catch. Yelich stops, and Hernandez shows off an arm that belies his old position. He was a second baseman. That's better than a second baseman's arm.
You see Hernandez, you think a little bit of a Bonifacio, who could play second, who could play third, who had a strong arm and could play center.
All right, this might be an inside question, but I'll just throw it out there. It's from Dave in North Palm Beach. Maybe Tommy needs to give a shout out to Jeff Albert, who used to be the roving hitting coach for the Cardinals, now with the Astros. He worked with all those Cardinals who are leading in batting stats, runners in scoring position, and such.
Well, he got the shout out there.
There you go.
Nice area, North Palm Beach.
Here's Ruggiano.
Up by the North Palm Beach Country Club, designed by Jack Nicklaus.
We've had a few of these questions, and so I'll just throw one of them out there. It's from Phil in Winter Haven, and include Rob Brantley in it. But most of the questions have been about Jake Marisnick and why he has not been playing lately. Ruggiano pulls that breaking ball to third. Galvis throws him out. Phil wants to know, why did the Marlins bring up Marisnick and Brantley, and why are they not playing?
Well, I think, okay, this is what I'm here for, to give my opinion. I don't know 100% why, but I think in both cases they both need to play and show a good half season in AAA that they can play at their position. In Brantley's case, catching, and in Jake Marisnick's case, not so much center field. We know he can play center field here, but hitting at this level. And to play them every day to finish the season, if you have that plan for them, there's no reason to. So I think they'll be playing. We'll get a chance to see them in the spring. But when it's all said and done, I think the best thing for them is to be in AAA for at least a half a season and see how they play.
Morrison up there right now. Miami trying to tie this ball game up here in the bottom of the 6th. Got good speed with Yelich at second. Morrison takes a strike, and it's 1-1. Tommy, did you play winter ball? If so, where and when? This is from Anibal with the Detroit Tigers. Actually, Anibal in Vero Beach. Two big hops for Rollins, and he throws out Morrison.
We'll get back to Anibal.
Scoreless inning for J.C. Ramirez. In Miami, 2-1. Phillies on top of the Fish. Henderson Alvarez ventures into the 7th. Duffy's deal all season long. You've been able to get it from Duffy's Sports Grill. You catch a ride to the game for $40. Get a lower level ticket, round trip motor coach transportation from Duffy's. A $10 Duffy's gift card. Now the final Duffy's deal game of the season is coming up on Saturday, the 28th, against the Tigers at 7:10. So Saturday against the Tigers, final Duffy's deal. Go to Marlins.com/Duffy's for your Duffy's deal.
All right, we got to get to the winter ball question. Who asked that? Oh, Anibal. I never played in Dominican or Puerto Rico or Venezuela, but a couple of years I went to the instructional league in Arizona, coming up in the Dodger organization. A lot of times, and had I had a year, if I had been injured or if I was working on a new position, I would have considered winter ball. And I actually got a call in December one year from Tommy Lasorda, who was managing in the Dominican or Venezuela, I can't remember. And his first baseman, Joe Haig, who was with the Cardinals, had gotten injured. And he wanted me to come down right away. And I did not. But if you were learning a new position, or if you thought it would enhance your moving up in the organization you were in, it helped to play winter ball.
3-2. Alvarez strikes out Galvis and has an out here in the 7th. After a rocky start, Alvarez has really settled in.
Yeah, he's been able to keep the ball down. The key for him is that he regrouped. A lot of pitchers have trouble doing that. With the way the first inning went for him, he was able to put it back together, and he's been throwing strikes ever since. He's retired 11 in a row.
Cameron Rupp, powerfully built catcher.
Jeremiah wants to know if A.J. Ramos will be the setup guy next year. I think he has a very good chance to fill that role. I think he has the ability to fill that role. You go to spring training, you really don't set up the bullpen right there as all your guys. You go to look at a lot of guys because spring training there are always a lot of arms.
Into center field, and Cameron Rupp has a base hit. There is A.J. Ramos.
I think because he's got a good fastball, he's got a lot of swing and miss pitches and some out pitches, so he very easily could fill that role if he survives his off-season trip with Giancarlo, which sounds like a great trip.
First AB for John Mayberry Jr., who came in the double switch. He's in the 9 spot. Mayberry has been in and out of the starting lineup. He's made 88 starts with the Phillies, mostly in the outfield. A couple at actually 4 at first base.
The one luxury that Ryan Sandberg has in dipping into his bullpen tonight and after using a lot of his bullpen last night, he has Cole Hamels pitching tomorrow night. Hamels 214 innings on the year. The record, when you see the record of Hamels, it's very deceiving. 8-14. But his ERA is 3.62.
Yvonne in Fort Lauderdale, we've had a few Austin Kearns questions. Wanting to know if he will rejoin the team, or is he gone from the team for good this year? Kearns left the Marlins because of some family health issues. And I do not think that he will be back this year.
I'm a little offended at Roberts' tweet. Good pitch by Alvarez. Robert said that I was the only Philly last night, or former Philly, who refused him of an autograph. He got Amaro, he got Rollins, Brown, Ruff, Ashe.
Was that when you were?
I don't even remember anyone asking.
Might have been when you got out of the limo and the flash bulbs may have blinded you. Cesar Hernandez. Robert, I've never seen my partner Tommy Hutton refuse an autograph, so
I always took pride in doing that in Philadelphia. So sorry, Robert, if I didn't hear you.
Alvarez looking sharp, over 100 pitches. Marlins bullpen is ready. Mike Redmond would love to see him get through the 7th. To do that, got to get Hernandez. Rollins is on deck. It's a foul ball on the check swing. A lot of questions about different positions. We've talked extensively about third base. Jeremiah wants to know who's the starting catcher next year. Skipworth, Brantley, Hill, Mathis, or someone else? I would guess someone else.
That would be my guess too. Someone else.
That's in. For a team looking for offense, the Marlins catchers have hit combined right around 200.
Wants to pitch inside. Got it right there. And threw it right there.
It's just off the black. So he goes out and throws that power changeup, and it sinks away from the bat of Cesar Hernandez. Nice effort tonight.
Of the year, and it's kind of crazy to think how fast this season in some ways has gone by, and I know some of you are going to be a little lost on Tuesdays without all of us. In fact, Lee tweeted in, sad to see the end of another season. Can you guys suggest a good hobby to pass Tuesday nights until next spring? A few ideas. There's like good Taco Tuesdays in South Florida, a few other things you could do. And Alex said, appreciate all of the Twitter Tuesdays that you guys have done this season. Looking forward to better things next year. #GoFish. So we appreciate for sure everyone that chimed in tonight and throughout the year, each and every Tuesday night as we take emails and Twitters. It's been a lot of fun. It's nice to see this become a staple of the broadcast here on Fox Sports Florida, and it certainly would not be what it is without the participation of everybody at home.
Here. Hey, A-Dub, you've been asking players all night long about their off-season plans. What are your off-season plans? What you doing from October to late March?
Nothing too exciting that I know of yet. Working. I'll be covering college football and college basketball for the next few months. And that's about it. I got to come up with something cool, like a trip to Spain, like AJ and Giancarlo, or some fishing or something like that. But I'm sure I'll sneak in something good here and there. But for the most part, I'll be keeping busy working the sidelines.
Very nice. Very nice. Jeff Mathis up right now. Mathis has struck out twice.
As you will, Rich. You'll be doing some basketball.
A lot of college basketball starting in early November.
So I'm the only one who really goes on vacation.
Where are you going?
We got a little trip planned. Got a couple trips. Heading out to Durango. You know I like going out there. And then taking a side trip from Durango into Napa. Can't go wrong in Napa.
That's quite a side trip.
Yeah, well, it's a couple days. A couple day drive. And then, you know, something haven't done in a while. Always really love it. Haven't really worked this one out yet. Always love to go up early December and spend a couple of days in New York, in the city, Christmas time. See all the decorations. Maybe make it over to Radio City.
Right, the subway. I could just see you on the subway at Christmas time. Bags jammed with stuff. Ranting.
So I stay away from that.
Here's a 2-2. Swing and a miss.
I won't be in rush hour. I'll be in happy hour.
2 outs, bottom 7. Here comes Juan Pierre as a pinch hitter. Look out! And here comes tomorrow's starters, brought to you by Chevron. Cole Hamels, Brad Hand. Lefties on the menu tomorrow night. Hamels has had an un-Hamels-like year. The ERA is not that bad. The record at 8-14. And Brad Hand looks for win number 2. Well, Juan Pierre, as a pinch hitter, has really flourished. And Tommy, you made the point that Pierre, normally a leadoff guy looking to get on base, takes a lot of pitches early in the count. Or now, as a pinch hitter, those first pitch fastballs that guys try to get over, he's been hitting like that. That one may have a little too much carry on it, and it does. Hit it well. Mayberry makes a running catch. To the 8th we go. 2-1. Phils.
Park Casino, abierto ahora.
This was a 2-1 game early, and it's still a 2-1 game late in the 8th. Let's check in with Craig Minervini.
Well, Rich, we talked about Live Like Bella. Bella Rodriguez died a little over 4 months ago from pediatric cancer. Her story first became national thanks to the Heat. LeBron James put a little note on his sneaker, and Dwayne Wade and the Heat and the Marlins have picked it up, got the message across in the summertime as well. Raymond Rodriguez is with us and his family, and you're going to get a chance to get the word out and raise money for a cause that is really gone unlooked a lot of times, huh?
It has. Unfortunately, every single day in the United States, 46 children are diagnosed. It's about every 3 minutes in somewhere in the world a child is diagnosed with cancer. And so we have much to do. We're doing this in memory of Bella, who passed away in May. And we're humbled with the support that the Marlins have given us. We have much work to do to find a cure for childhood cancer.
And how do the fans help raise money?
Go to livelikebella.org, and they can purchase Live Like Bella items. They can make donations. They can help us find a cure for childhood cancer.
How neat was it to see Mike Redmond, Major League Manager? He wore this shirt. I know Placido Polanco went to school with his child, went to school with Bella. LeBron James sort of put this out there on a national front. You saw your daughter's name nationally during the championship series.
It was quite humbling. It was very.
When did you see that?
The day she passed away, we saw on the shoes of LeBron and Dwayne Wade, "Live Like Bella," and the next day, all over the world, hashtag Live Like Bella circulated. And it means a lot of things to a lot of different people. For many, it means to take life and savor it, to tackle it no matter what comes, to never complain. Bella fought cancer 6 times in only 10 years.
Wow.
With great courage, and it's truly been an inspiration to continue her fight.
Your daughter Reina today was out there on the field, and tell me the story. Jose Fernandez came over to her, I understand, and all of a sudden something happened before the game.
He did. He was very kind. We got a chance to say hello to him. He knew about Bella. and insisted that Reina throw out the first pitch to him. So she was able to do that, and I'm very proud of her.
All kinds of calls were made. Billy, show that. Look at that shirt. Even if you're as large as Billy the Marlin, you'll find a shirt to fit. All right, thanks to you guys again. The hashtag is #LiveLikeBella, and it's
LiveLikeBella.org.
You're doing a great job, really. If something great comes out of this, that'll be wonderful in Bella's memory, and it seems like it is. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, Rich, Tommy.
Good stuff, Craig.
That's just tremendous.
Jimmy Rollins bounces out. Donovan Solano makes the play, and you can see Dan Jennings in the ball game takes over for Henderson Alvarez. All things told, when Alvarez walked 3 consecutive hitters, and that followed a Rollins double in the first, there's no way you thought he was going to get 7 innings in tonight. And he gave up 2 in the first, and that's it. He had retired a streak of 11 straight before the hit by a Rupp in the 7th.
Well, you think about it, the Marlins' 2 starters in the first 2 games of this series. Nathan Eovaldi went 7 2/3 last night, gave up just 3 hits and no runs. And Henderson Alvarez retired 13 of the last 14 he faced and worked 7 innings, gave up just 5 hits and 2 runs.
Jennings faces Utley and misses down low.
So unfortunately, it's been a theme revisited way too often this year. Good pitching, not much offense.
Ball inside. Just updating you on some important games with postseason implications. Mets 4, Reds 2 in Cincinnati in the 7th. Cardinals 2, Nationals nothing in the 5th in St. Louis. And the Pirates continue to lead the Cubs 4-1, bottom 4 in Chicago. Texas, Houston 1-1 in the 5th in Arlington. Although Cleveland is leading now 3-2. Indians trying to hold that 1-game lead with that second wild card spot in the American League. The Rays a 5-0 lead over the Yankees. That's bottom 6.
It's been a really good year for experience for Dan Jennings. And if he looks back on this year as he looks ahead to 2014, it's to be a little more consistent and have a little better result against left-handed bats. Lefty's hitting about 285 against him this year. You'd like to see that lower. But I think certainly has an opportunity to be a part of the bullpen next year, to be that left-handed guy out there.
Utley a 1-for-2 night. 3-2 coming. And it zings outside. Dominic Brown coming up. You can order food directly from your smartphone. Not on your couch, but at the ballpark. It's the MLB at the Ballpark app. Tommy is updating his right now on his iPhone. Upgrade your seats as well instantly from the palm of your hand. Just download the MLB.com at the Ballpark mobile app for these features and more.
Gonna miss that feature during the offseason.
Yes, it becomes the Get It Yourself app.
Yeah, get up and get it yourself.
Get your lazy butt off the couch and get it yourself.
See, there's an idea, though, Rich. We may have just come up with something. The Get It Yourself app. Here's a little example of what we were talking about with Dan Jennings. Walking the lefty Chase Utley and then falling behind with a couple of breaking balls to the left-hander Dominic Brown.
Swing and a miss, and it's 2-1. Mary in Miami Shores, respectfully, please ask Tommy to comment on how a losing season like the Marlins have had can motivate baseball players rather than depress them. That probably could apply to fans as well.
Say that again.
Here's the 2-1. Mary wants to know, losing season, it can go either way. It can depress a player, it can beat down a player, or it can motivate them. How does it? How do both sides work?
You know, I think the way most professional athletes are, especially the ones that have gotten to this level, a season like this should motivate you. And if it doesn't, maybe you should be somewhere else. But I think when you have a year like this, it's very hard. It's very frustrating. There's no question about it. But if anything, you should take some motivation out of it and want to come back in the spring and improve. And if you improve, and if everybody else has that same thought, then the entire team improves.
I'm sure you played on a few teams that had stinkers of years. Pete says, Rich and Tommy, would you guys please extend my compliments to Craig? He always does a good job, especially with his interviews on the field. Here's the 3-2 to center. Ruggiano's back and makes the catch. I hear that Craig's kids are active on Twitter.
Well,
thank you, Chase.
Our compliments, Craig, our compliments are extended to you.
Hey, back to you guys. It's always fun. It's funny how the season can drag on sometimes, and then there's a deafening silence right when the season ends, and you're yearning for spring training. But we'll enjoy the break and be back at it.
At the same time, too, the season can drag, and you're having a tough week, and then all of a sudden it's email, Twitter Tuesday.
That's right.
No matter how badly things are going, that always seems to perk us up. Mike Redmond, a Metro PCS call to the pen. Ryan Webb comes in. Have been on top since the very get-go when they got 2 runs in the first. Ryan Webb in here in the 8th.
Well, Mike Redmond seeing the opportunity to keep this a 1-run game. Now, the one concern with Ryan Webb out there and Utley at first, Utley doesn't run the way he did, but he still can steal a base. And runners have had a lot of success against Ryan Webb in stealing bags, so he has to be careful, make sure to try to keep up Utley close over there at first base.
Marlins fan 27. This is for Allison. I was hoping you would actually take a trip to Missouri and then take me to Florida. We met Marlins fan 27 in Kansas City. Darren Ruff. Leaning, and just got back in.
Well, you can see the thought that Utley has, and you can see that Ryan Webb's trying to keep him close. And I think he got it.
Bouncer, Echeverria. Bullet of a throw to get the out at second. And Ryan Webb does his job. Bottom of the 8th. Marlins down a run.
A one-out double off the bat of Jimmy Rollins extends his hitting streak to 10 games. And then some walks, and finally a bases-loaded walk and a ground ball. And not real exciting, but that's how the Phillies got their 2 runs in the first inning. The Marlins were able to cut the lead in half on a Justin Ruggiano double in the left center field. He was thrown out at third base, but Stanton came in to score. That's been the scoring. It was a terrific 7 innings by Henderson Alvarez. Gave up those 2 runs. Zach Miner started for the Phillies, went 4, gave up just 1 run. Stutz, J.C. Ramirez, and now it's up to Jake Diekman for the Phillies.
You had your nose in the scorebook. You missed it. But it was fun.
I was trying to go through this game summary. What did I miss?
In the words of Lou Piniella, you did a very professional job on the game summary. What you missed was our 2 boys in, I guess, clubbing in Spain is the best way to put it. With Giancarlo
A.J. Ramos and Giancarlo.
They had the suits on from Cincinnati. They were dancing
looking
around.
fine. Those guys are looking fine.
Fun with Photoshop.
Our crack staff multi-talented in photoshopping those pictures.
Phils dip into their bullpen a little deeper. Jake Diekman, who's been on a nice run. 16 of his last 17 appearances have been scoreless. And he's dropped his ERA all the way from about 4.5 down to 2.72. Solano sends a fly ball Mayberry's way, and he makes the catch. AT&T poll question. Arr! No. Sorry. Fans feel that the Pirates are not going to get past either the Reds or the Cardinals in
Hey, a
that
little good
wild
news,
card
though,
game.
for Pirate fans is, and he's throwing the ball pretty well, and they finally got him in that closer role. Jason Grilly's back. So that's good news for Pirate fans. I still like what Cincinnati has to offer, though.
Stuart in Pompano, as a Philly fan, wondering whatever happened to fellow left-handed first baseman Willie Montanez. Teammate of yours?
Oh, Willie and I teammates. Yeah, then he was traded. We were teammates a couple of years. And then Willie got traded to the Giants. It was a big trade, actually, for Philadelphia for Gary Maddox, who ended up patrolling center field. Great teammate, Willie Montanez.
It's a good trade for the Phils.
And it worked out well. Willie had some good years with San Francisco.
We don't know about his whereabouts, though.
Willie lived in Puerto Rico.
Gina in Missouri. Rich and Tommy, how about one more 10-run reel before the season ends? I think you still owe us from last week. Anything to help a Fish fan stuck in Cardinal Nation. Well, the night following the 10-run reel misfire, we were able to bring you some 10-run reel nuggets. Diekman.
Yeah, Willie's 65 years old, born in Catano, Puerto Rico. I would imagine still down there. And I would guess, I would hope, involved in baseball a little bit.
Lucas takes up. Count evens at 2-2. Lucas cracks one into left field for a hit.
There's one of those swings, Richie, you talked about the other night. Every once in a while he'll anticipate a pitch in and just go ahead and turn on it. So many times we see him stay back and drive a ball into right field. Turned on that nicely. And a sharp single for Ed Lucas.
Yelich now. Diekman has an interesting delivery. He'll set up on the third base, the extreme third base side of the rubber. Look how far over he is, but look where he steps. He really has that dramatic step and crossfire action. If he stood on the other side of the rubber and had that same delivery, he would have a real tough time, I think, finding the plate.
He almost appears that he steps toward the first baseline. So not a comfortable or an easy at bat for a left-handed hitter.
But, you know, his plant foot ends up right where just about everybody else's plant foot ends up.
But you're right. If he was over on the other side of the rubber, his plant foot would end up off the mound.
He'd stumble off the mound. He's 1-1 on Yelich. Fouls it back to the screen. Yelich wearing his age on his back. Stanton is on deck. 1 out. Lucas the runner at first. Just foul. Boy, just foul.
You know, he's actually had some pretty good swings against this tough left hand.
And it's low and away. It's turned into a really nice battle here between Jake Diekman and Christian Yelich. Missed again at 97 miles an hour.
It's a good job. This is a terrific at bat by Yelich.
Stays alive, just stays alive. Diekman dialed up 98. Ryan Sandberg saw the Phils swept by the Mets. The Mets and the Phils in this play open, identical 71 and 85 records. Yelich swings and misses and strikes out. So Diekman wins the battle. Now he faces Stanton, or at least, yeah, I guess he faces Stanton here. So Giancarlo is 1 for 3.
This is one of those situations as a manager, you say, okay, with one swing, Giancarlo can put the club ahead, so you have to get Cishek a little bit loose, so he's down there tossing.
Stan pulls it down the line. Hugging the line was Galvis, and he goes to second to get the out. And the inning ends. Diekman a scoreless 8th. 9th arrives, still 2-1. Ninth inning rolls around. Ryan Webb, who finished the 8th, starts the 9th. And for the Phils, Cody Ashe has got a bat. This is the pitcher spot in the order after the double switch by Ryan Sandberg.
Well, and the Phillies will get their closer ready, Jonathan Papelbon.
Having watched it last night and having seen some of his greatest moments up close, you sure hope that Roy Halladay is fine and is able to build the arm strength and get the velocity back for next year. Because
yeah, you're absolutely right.
It was tough to watch last night.
It was, and you know the type of person he is, the type of hard worker he is, and that's why you root for guys like that. But the bottom line, you got to remember, Roy Halladay is 36. He's thrown a lot of innings. There's Papelbon.
Jonathan Papelbon getting ready.
And you have to wonder, you can't imagine a team offering him any kind of a guaranteed contract unless it's heavily laced with incentives. And you don't know if a guy like Halladay would go to a spring training camp on a minor league contract.
Ashe fouls it off. We've seen Cody Ashe. Ryan Sandberg likes him. In fact, he likens him to a young Chase Utley.
If you're a young infielder and a left-handed hitter, that's a good comparison.
Dale Scott down at third base, no swing. Close. Struck him out. Down goes Ashe. Webb has retired both men that he's faced. All right, kids, you asked for a little 10-run reel. Here's the AT&T U-verse rewind. This was the racing squirrel, the fastest squirrel you've ever seen. Look at the head start. What happened? The racing squirrel from San Diego. Not the Expo squirrel. As it would turn out, a Padres front office employee saw that squirrel at a minor league game, thought the promotion was so cool that brought it along to San Diego, where they let someone who's athletic get a huge head start, and this guy in a squirrel suit runs him down and wins the race. As it turns out, this guy was a track star in college.
I'd love to see the racing squirrel against the what was that little moose in
Bully the Moose.
Bully the Moose in Washington D.C. at Nationals Park.
The one that
he took out Abe, and they could throw in the bucket for entertainment. Those three in a race. Now, people at home are wondering that haven't seen the Tool race in Atlanta what we're talking about. We're talking about the bucket.
Bucket has quickly become one of our favorite characters in all of baseball. It used to be Chorizo, who at times resembled a little Amezaga. When Amezaga was in his heyday with the Marlins, he always used to take great pride in Chorizo's performance, oftentimes wagering small amounts of currency.
Pesos.
Yes. Of currency on Chorizo.
You know, I think it all started with the San Diego Chicken back in the 70s.
Did he race anybody?
I don't know if he raced anybody. He raced away from a few people.
Freddie Galvis pulls it foul. Who was the first team to race? I know as a kid they had dot races up on the scoreboard, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, I think
the sausages actually started on the scoreboard.
On the scoreboard, yes,
and then they came to life. That one foul back to the screen.
You can picture the Brewers in their winter meetings. A guy standing up saying, "We ought to bring those sausages to life."
I think at times Mr. Red chased Rosie Red, but that was not a race. Here's the 1-2. Tapper towards short. Echeverria. That is not an easy play, and he just made it look easy. That's an off-foot flip to get a fast man on a slow chopper.
Boy, he's nice to watch. He has been fun to watch all year. Galvis can run. This ball not hit hard. Echeverria really doesn't get himself set so he can get a lot on the throw, and he still gets a lot on the throw and gets Galvis. Nice stretch from Lomo as well. Boy, that's grace.
By the way, just to clarify on Roy Halladay, his contract is up this year. He did have an option for next year, but he's not going to get any of the thresholds.
So based on innings, wasn't it?
Right. He had to pitch either 225 innings this year, and he's certainly not going to get there, or 415 combined the last 2 years. And he could not be on the disabled list at the end of this year, and that point moot because he didn't reach the innings.
So far, the bullpen's done a nice job. Dan Jennings, Ryan Webb got an out in the 8th inning and a couple of outs here.
Cameron Rupp. Two and one. Ruggiano, Morrison, Echeverria scheduled bottom 9. Ryan Webb doing what Ryan Webb does best, get ground balls there. One from Galvis, one from Rupp. And thus ends the top of the 9th. Down a run are the Fish. And it's been 2-1 for a long, long time. Marlins Live presented by Checkers. Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine are already set.
Hello.
Jeff Conine, as was pointed out by one of our emailers early in the season, has the best posture in all of baseball.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
I appreciate all the votes.
And I'm sure your mom would like that. I'm sure she'd, straighten up, Jeff.
She taught me well. She taught me well.
No teacher had to tell you in class.
Never.
Straighten up, Mr. Conine.
My mom always did that for me.
I think I heard that a few times. Class.
Those two guys will be raring to go.
Now, Jonathan Papelbon trying to close it out for the Phillies. If he does, it would be his 29th save. Now he has a consecutive streak going of 7 straight years of 30 or more saves. At 38 last year in his first year with the Phillies, and of course was a key part of the Red Sox in 2007.
So it's Papelbon, Ruggiano, Morrison, Echeverria in the bottom of the 9th. 2-1 Phillies lead. And a little half swing way off the bag is rough, and he flips it. Papelbon is there, and with one pitch, kind of an excuse me swing, and an out here in the 9th.
Big out for Papelbon, because you come into a one-run game like this and you're thinking about the guys who can hurt you with the long ball, and one of them was Ruggiano. He's got to deal with Logan Morrison now.
Morrison takes. Lomo looking for his first hit of the night. He's walked once and bounced out twice. It was a parade out of the bullpen for the Phils last night after the short start, the injury to Halladay, or the arm fatigue, whatever you want to call it. Zach Minor going. Remember, Minor was on like a 60 pitch count when the Marlins saw him, and of course this is next time out. He gets to 76 pitches. So 4 innings for Minor. He can't win the game, unfortunately. Stutz, Ramirez, Diekman, and now Papelbon.
Yeah, up to the official scorekeeper to give the nod to, I would say, maybe Ramirez, because he went 2 innings.
Two-1 coming to Morrison. Papelbon, as you noted, just an incredibly impressive resume coming over from Boston. This the second of a 4-year, $50 million contract. So the Phils are invested in a lot of veteran players, including a veteran closer. Papelbon, 32, out of Jacksonville.
Oh, it's kind of like the way Papelbon, when he comes set, kind of holds the ball a little off to the side.
There's your active leaders. The top spot's about to change.
And I don't think anybody's ever going to get there either. Would you question, Rich, when guys like Mariano Rivera and Derek Jeter, 5 years after their retirement, they are not unanimous selections their first year? Would you question the process if that happened? Well, how could you not vote for one of those guys?
Oh, I think they will be.
I mean, I hope they are.
Let me amend that. They're going in on the first ballot, whether they're unanimous or not.
I think to this point, Tom Seaver, I want to say 97 or 98% is what Seaver received.
Seaver's the closest there was to unanimous.
Yes.
Well, then, I've always been of the thought that a Hall of Famer is a Hall of Famer. But I do understand that for guys that do get in later, on Andre Dawson, where it takes a while, sometimes it takes a little longer for career numbers and a body of work to settle in and maybe be compared to others that are getting in at the time. One. It's 1-2.
So a topic for another time, maybe this weekend.
Sounds like you'll get pretty worked up over it, though. That's good.
That would upset me, yeah.
I know that now I've got a place to go if I really want to get you rolling. Here's a 1-2.
I hate to give you those.
It's in the dirt. Well, there's certain hot buttons I know I can get there.
And you'll get me if
body armor. Any hitter that comes up with body armor.
Too much, yeah. Or if we see Marmol on the open market this winter.
Or if you see him at the mall.
You know what? He's probably a nice guy.
Two coming. It's out. Echeverria trying to get aboard.
The Phillies bullpen last night, much used, issued 7 walks. Tonight their bullpen hasn't walked anybody.
Papelbon, 3-2 coming. And Echeverria fouls it back. Rollins knocks it down. It's a base hit. And Miami still has life.
Good effort by Jimmy Rollins. Etch gets the base hit. Almost was robbed.
Placido Polanco will pinch hit for Jeff Mathis. Greg Dobbs is on deck. Throw to first.
Now the other choice for Mike Redmond was to have Dobbs pinch hit for Mathis.
Polanco has had success.
A little bit of history against Papelbon.
Well, you're going to need 2 pinch hitters back to back. You're going to need one to pinch hit for Mathis and one to pinch hit in the 9 spot. Here's Dobbs against him, 1 for 6. So if you pinch hit Dobbs here, then and he gets a hit, you probably need another pinch hitter.
But if Polanco makes an out, you leave Dobbs on deck. So that's another way to look at it.
It is. And that's the tough part about managing.
Yeah.
Knowing when.
We can sit up here and talk about it.
It's easy to do it. It's obviously a lot more difficult down there. One coming.
I'll never forget talking to Larry Durker when he came out of the booth. He'd been broadcasting for the Astros for a while and went down on the field to manage. And I remember one of the first conversations I had with him. He said he couldn't believe how fast everything happened when you're in the dugout, and how you always have to be 2 or 3 hitters ahead, where it's not that way up here.
Polanco in the air to right. Mayberry is there, and he makes the catch, and Papelbon shuts the door, and the Phillies win the ball game. 2-1 the final from Miami tonight.